It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Alaja Nima Akasha Zibiri.
I'm grateful to God. Good morning. I'm fine. The traffic today, I hope that when we are going back, the roads will be free because I really need to go back on time. I'm grateful.
Obiajilu, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm grateful to God for everything. So last week we had our 5 years anniversary, business anniversary at the store, and I had a lot of support. It was so successful. We had a blast. There was food, there was drinks. People were coming in to make purchase. It was really a good moment because I had to sit down to remember how I started that business. I actually started the business from drop shipping in my house. At some point, my house became like my warehouse. I was putting all of my products till I finally had to get a store. And looking at where I was starting and where I'd come to, I'm really, really grateful to God. So now this week is for resting. I had to go to the hospital because I was having some pains. I mentioned that I shifted my waist while carrying my dumbbell. So I'm resting this week. Next week we'll start again.
Okay, well done. How are you doing, Mariam?
Fine. Today's my husband's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Mr. Longest.
Yes, it's just, and this year is particularly a celebratory one for us. You know, God showed up for us. He showed up strong. He showed up merciful. He's shown us. I mean, if there was any doubt who my God was, right, it's been cleared. My God loves me. He cares for me. I am important. I'm really the apple of his eye. So I'm so grateful for my husband's birthday this year. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I had a very rough morning. I mean, my mornings are usually like this, but I tried to get up. I got up early. I left home, and I was in traffic. I had to take a bike. So the traffic all the way from, Falomot Bridge going into Akiadeshola, and it was just standstill. I was just there for 11. I kept looking at the time. It was 8:25. I said, there's no way I'm going to get to work on time. So I told my driver, get me a bike. So I had to get on the bike. Really, really, really flustered this morning and had everything scattered. By the time I now got to Eko Atlantic, he told me that soldiers had come in and cleared up the road. So he was able to meet me.
They cleared it. Was there an accident on the...
No, I don't know. I went through it and there was nothing.
No, they were fixing the bridge on the other side.
You didn't have to turn to the Akadeshola?
No, I didn't.
What part did you come?
I went to the regular CMS. But there was nothing happening.
Maybe we should try that tomorrow.
No, the traffic was bad.
There was traffic there
we could not find the reason for the traffic. It was just terrible.
Last month
was really, really bad.
It could be the little rain.
I don't know. It was really irritating this morning. Okay, let's go on a very short break, and every other thing is irritating. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. 5 major banks declare 4.56 trillion naira full year profit. Drill or lose your oil wells, federal government warns. Philip Shaibu advocates active roles for deputy governors. Funding slows down INEC's plan to hold by-elections. 2 more Uromi killing suspects arrested. Tribunal rules today in Ighodalo versus Okpebolo petition. And election lawyer market, Makinde halt planned demolition. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Okay, so I have Edo again. 2 more suspects have been arrested in Uromi in the 16-party murder that happened where they lynched 16 people who were traveling. And this, of course, has been the governor has been commended for the action he has taken so far. The 2 people arrested have been moved. They were arrested initially, taken to Benin and then from there to Abuja right now, and they're being interrogated. But the governor is being commended by the National Human Rights Commission as well as the Kano State government for the action he has taken for immediate arrest of the people involved in this killing, and the way he's gone to Kano as well as Abuja to visit and calm nerves, and the preparation of compensation that he has done. I want to even join and commend the governor, but I want to use the opportunity to talk to the Kano State government, who are now commending Edo State for being proactive in this situation to act as well when mob actions are taken in other states and we have them as inconclusive murders. It shows the failure of government. So everybody should follow this example to avert possible reprisals. What the governor has done is that he has made sure that the people of the north who got up to speak about their people murdered in Edo were relieved to see action being taken. At least they arrested 14 people immediately. They've arrested 2 more people. That's how it should be done. Nobody should have the right to mob anybody, lynch anybody, or create any false action, false story around anybody in religious excuses in anybody's state. So I hope that now that they are being relieved of this, they will follow the example, and we'll have some of these murders concluded eventually.
Okay, so let me take the drill or lose your oil well story. So according to the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Senator Heineken Olokubiri, who was speaking in Italy at the Cross Industry Group event in Florence, Italy. He says all wells licensees that have failed to initiate drilling operations in the last 30 years, they risk losing their licenses. This, according to him, they will as well lose ownership of the facilities under the drill or drop provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act. He said any proactive government will revoke the licenses for underdeveloped assets and reallocate them to those willing to drill and ready to do the work. So he urged industry players to explore collaborative measures such as shared resources for continuous assets, because if you can't do it by yourself, get those who can support you to do it, but you cannot just have the license and not be drilling, because we need it for our national development.
Yeah, so I have the Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, yesterday, who visited Alishiloye Market in Ibadan, where a section burned on March 12th. He was on the spot assessment of the accident that happened, and he ordered suspension of the planned demolition of the burnt section until a proper alternative had been provided for the affected traders. So the fire outbreak occurred in the morning of March 12 at the plastic and rubber section of the market, which destroyed goods worth millions of naira. The governor said his administration had provided palliatives to serve as immediate cushion for victims of the incident, and he added that the state government, Ibadan Southwest local government, and Ibadan South local council development area will work on cushioning the effects of the incident on traders in the next few days. His administration would also restructure the market and put in place a proper architecture that would not allow further fire outbreaks. So he says we have to enlighten the people. It's better to avoid anything that can lead to fire incidents than to curtail it. So the advocacy would be that people should store things, especially with potential to get burnt, with utmost caution. So the thing is, the people who were scared before that they are going to be relocated without having anywhere to keep their goods, rest assured now that they'll find an alternative for them before they start reconstructing the market. That's a good one.
Yeah, I have former Edo State Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu He has canvassed constitutional amendments that would grant deputy governors active roles in governance. He shared his experience as the deputy governor to former governor of Edo State, Obaseki. He said that he proposes that deputy governors be made to represent their states at National Economic Council meetings chaired by the Vice President. He said currently the Vice President chairs the NEC, but at the state level, it is the governors who attend the meetings instead of their deputies. This should change. And he says if these amendments are made, we will no longer have deputy governors who are unable to act as governors when the need arises. He emphasized the need for deputy governor security details to be provided by the Inspector General of Police and other security chiefs rather than leaving it at the discretion of their governors. And many other suggestions that he made. But he was also asked about his relationship with the former governor, and he said that that his reservation about Obaseki was rooted in his approach to governance. He said he had never believed in Obaseki's ability to lead Edo effectively, that even before they were sworn in, he had his reservations, but for the sake of peace and progress, he decided to align with him. Unfortunately, his fears have been confirmed, and it's really sad for the people of Edo State that they did not enjoy the expected progress, and that is his.
Okay, moving on to Daily Sun. Natasha defies government and police storms Kogi. CBN posts 23.11 billion dollars in net forex reserve, strongest position in 3 years. Nigeria's stability, security require collective effort, says Chief of Army Staff. Local government chair, 6 commissioners, contractors arrested in Ebonyi. Ponzi scheme promoters in Nigeria risk 10-year jail term. Border control, FG vows to tackle organized immigration crime. And Edo Guba Tribunal delivers judgment today. Okay, let's take one story for the break.
The headline. So Senator Natasha Akpotudua was, in her hometown Ihima yesterday in the Okehi local government area of Kogi State, and this, of course, is against the curfew put in by the governor of the state against any gathering, any vehicular, any entry, any public gathering, any rally, any entry of any vehicular convoy with siren into the state, and also her local government chairman, who had also told her to cancel the rally, but she came into the gathering in her own town via helicopter, saying she was breaking no laws, and that this was not a gathering. This is her coming to celebrate Salah with her people. At least they use helicopter, not they use siren in her fan. But she came in, and of course he made certain very inciting allegations while addressing her people against the Senate President again, against the governor again, and so those parties are also responding. But in the story, let's just focus on how she was able to still meet her people despite the curfew that she alleges was supposed to stop her.
Let's go on a very short break now. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regular.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show, you for that long.
Ladies and gentlemen, #1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number.
Ekiti State is my mom's hometown, so it interested me. So they said Ekiti State Governor Biodun Yebanji has said efforts are in top gear to ensure Ekiti Agro-Allied International Cargo Airport runs 24-hour operation to make the route competitive. He expressed the delight that the economy had recorded improvements in the last 2.5 years, promising to do more to ensure a more sustainable development of the state and better living standard for the people. So Governor Yebanji spoke during the monthly media chat, Meet Your Governor, and he said his administration is intended to make Ekiti Airport a major hub as well as a major driver of the economy, attracting more investors to the state and boosting the economic capacities of the citizens. He said his government has entered into discussions with 3 major airlines in the country to begin commercial flights at the airport, facilitate air travel, tourism development, more investment and transportation of cargoes, and export of farm produce to local and international destinations. So he expressed optimism that at least 2 of the airlines will operate flights to and from the airport. He said his administration also hoped to make the route competitive by working hard to install instrument landing system, the ILS, that would ensure operation of 24 hours flight at the airport. Congratulations to the people of Ekiti State. Hope this works out fine.
I have the federal government has vowed to tighten the noose on organized immigration crime, OIC, while canvassing effective border control. So the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, said this to newsmen at the ongoing Border Security Summit in Lancaster House, London. He's calling for collaboration with the Sahel and West African countries on information and data sharing for effective border control. He said that we need more data sharing and better collaborations to make sure we don't just solve the problem, but we stop the problem from happening. The Interior Minister says that the major takeaway from the summit is proactiveness and not just being reactive, as countries are now more poised to criminalizing irregular migration. He says the summit is a wonderful one because it brings opportunities for ministers in border control to make sure we're all able to manage our borders to secure our country. He says organized immigration crimes were not an isolated problem to a particular country, emphasizing that it is a shared problem and therefore shared solutions must be proffered. He said Nigeria has border control solutions because we're not just a destination point. He also says that we have we've automated our solutions, and there are more measures in place to ensure borders are secure and ensure irregular migration is brought to an end. But we cannot afford to lose the battle even before we start, and that's why it's important that we have data sharing collaboration amongst, the different countries.
So I have the Ponzi scheme story. So the Director General of the Securities Exchange Commission, SEC, said that this recently enacted Investment and Securities Act 2025, signed by the President, has empowered the Commission to combat Ponzi schemes and other fraudulent investment activities. According to him, the Commission can now bark and bite, just as he assured the promoters of the Ponzi schemes to face 10 years or a fine of 40 million naira, among other penalties. The SEC was said that before the law, the SEC was not empowered to actually take down this Ponzi scheme, but now with the law that's been signed by the President, they are now empowered to ensure they take down all who are involved in these fraudulent activities, and they risk that 10 years in jail. Moving on now to Vanguard. Killings Uromi on lockdown by security operatives. Picture story here again. Kogi Central stands still for Akpoti Edoha. Liberation Day, Nigeria's 4.59 trillion naira exports to US under threat. Ekiti Airport will run 24-hour flights operation, says Governor Oyebanji. Edo governorship poll dispute, anxiety as tribunal gives judgment today. Killings, kidnapping, angry residents shut major roads in Utukpo. Governor Sani reads riot act to monarchs over land grabbing. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Yes, so I have the Utukpo story. So an angry mob took to the street protesting the kidnapping and insecurity that they've continuously suffered in the states, saying that it is, disheartening that the security agents just seem to allow this happen without taking any action, which is, supportive of what I had said earlier with the Edo State story we took. So reacting to this development, the media advisor to the Senate Minority Leader and lawmaker representing Benue South Senatorial District, Senator Abamoro, expressed worry over the worsening insecurity in the town and urged the government and security agencies to take action. So now you cannot find peaceful farmers farming in Benue. This outcry came out when the outcry for the Uromi killing came out against the North scene. We constantly, cry about the farmers being attacked in their farms. There are plenty videos of, herders uprooting yams and corns for cattle in other people's farms without any lawful resolution of it. No criminal action is taken. Nothing is done. And so this continues. Even the people of Uromi were also decrying that this happened because their people had been crying out over time, and their representatives were not doing enough to give a voice to what they were suffering, which was rape, kidnapping, and attacks in their farms and their homes in Uromi there. And so these people are also talking about it. In the same story, the Miati Allah Cattle Rearers Association, MACBAN, were also talking about speaking at the panel session for conflict resolution and security in livestock management on the second day of the livestock summit held in Makurdi. We're talking about how this has to be done in phases, that this has to be taken phase by phase. The livestock resettlement has to be done in phases, but I think it should be done immediately. This is a business, just as everybody's farming is doing the business. You are responsible for your cattle and you have no right to harvest my farm product. It's stealing. And if it is not treated as the crime that it is, it will lead to more crime, which is then reprisals, attacks, and murders and all of that. Okay. I think the security agents should do more, but we also as citizens should do better. If I have cattle, I should respect your farm. If you have a farm, you respect my cattle. Simple. It's a debatable conversation because your cattle got to eat. And I also got it. So it's a conversation for another day. But let me take the story on Liberation Day. Today is Liberation Day according to Donald Trump. For those of you following the international news, according to this report, Nigeria's total 4.59 trillion exports to the United States may come under threat because today Donald Trump unveils his new swath of tariffs in what is called as Liberation Day. Though the details of the tariffs are yet to be known and are largely unknown, it is reported that proposals are being discussed to have a blanket 20% tax on all goods coming into the United States. According to the report, Trump has specifically not targeted Nigeria in any of the tariff levies, but the fact that all countries are going to be part of these 20% tax, the 4.59 trillion that we export to their country every year is likely to come under threat. So we're waiting for the April 2nd is the day he says he's going to announce today. So we are somewhat on standstill waiting to see what the announcement will be and which countries will be covered under this new tariff that they plan to insist and demand across the world.
Yeah, do we have time for one story?
Yes, please.
Yes, so this Zone 2 Command, Unicon Lagos, have busted a human trafficking syndicate that specialized in trafficking gullible ladies between 19 and 21 years to Mauritania, where they are used as sex workers. Arrested were 2 suspected female members of the syndicate in their recruiting base at Ikpaja Ayobo area of Lagos. One of the suspects was said to have confessed to receiving 50,000 for each lady recruited for prostitution. The Zonal Command has also swooped on suspected members of the Aye confraternity group while planning an attack in Ijebu-Ife area of Ogun State, arresting a 54-year-old suspected member. So they recovered from the cultists their hideouts when they went there, locally made angle barrel pistol, 6 live cartridges, 21 voters cards suspected to be fake, and 1 emerald pump action gun with breech number 1335. So the Zonal Public Relations Officer, CSP Ayuba Umar, confirmed both arrests, said the human trafficking syndicate was busted March 22nd by operatives of the Zonal Intelligence Response Squad led by SP Francis. She gave the identities of the suspects as Stella Edem and Susan Michael. So he went ahead to explain that Stella Edem had confessed to the crime. She said she was introduced to one Annabelle, a female who is based in Mauritania, by Rosemary Isaiah Otobong, a female who has been prosecuted for the same offense and currently serving jail term. And she said that they had asked her to recruit young girls below the ages of 22 years to be used as sex workers in Mauritania, and that she was paid 50,000 naira commission on each young girl sent to Mauritania. She also said among the girls she recruited was her own 19-year-old daughter, that she has so far received a total of 500,000 from Annabelle. Now, her accomplice, Susan Michael, confessed as well, said they have been contracted by Stella Edem to recruit young girls to serve as domestic staff in Mauritania. But when she now inquired further, she discovered the girls were used as sex workers, so she had to withdraw from the business. That the only girl she sent to Stella Edem was rejected due to age and body size. At that point, she knew that something was fishing.
That's all we can take on Front Page Review this morning. When we come back, move on to our special feature for today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results. So
My 20 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take.
I choose to
Ejeki,
stay.
close the show. Give for that long.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert, and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym to get fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer,
you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You scissors. What is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Yeah, today we'll go here.
Hey!
Let's catch up.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay tuned. Entertainment for pure entertainment.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Oh, wow. My typical day is filled with meetings, consultations, and of course, traffic. And that's all part of the hustle and bustle of city life. But the real fun starts when I can just settle down and catch up with all my favorite programs on TVC. Believe me, it's pure entertainment.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Thanks for staying with us. Joining us to discuss the variety and categories of experiences South Africa has to offer to different travelers with the campaign #More Easter for You is a Senior Holidays Associate, Wakanao Olamide Edward. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you on.
Good morning. It's good to
So tell us about the trade partner. What is it exactly about?
Okay. Thank you, everyone. So I'll quickly talk about Wakanao. Okay. So that's the company I'm representing here. So Wakanao is an African travel tech company. It's the leading company in the tech world when it comes to travel. So as regards trade partners, we have 400 sub-agents, we have 12,000 affiliates, and we have 30 travel centers across Nigeria as a whole. So we have a good platform for B2B. We call them B2B customers.
Yeah, so let's talk about South Africa. I'm sure you're here to tell us what South Africa has got to offer, especially this holiday season. But me, I have beef personally with South Africa. Because the last time, yes, because the last time they did not give me visa. So what are you going to do different for people who are looking to go to South Africa for the holidays, and what do they have to offer?
Okay, so I would first of all advise for people that wants to go to South Africa for holidays, they need to first of all process their visa. Okay. Because without visa, you cannot travel to South Africa. We have 2 categories of visa. We have the seeker visa
and we have the express e-visas for Nigerian travelers. Okay, so they need to first of all process their visa, then we will now come in to create a package for them. We can also assist with visa. If they come to us in time, we will have ample time for us to process their visa, then be able to put packages together for them to travel to South Africa. That's about visa. So for people that wants to go to South Africa for Easter, yes, so we have varieties of packages for people that wants to go to SA for Easter. Okay, so South Africa has different categories of activities which people would enjoy when they go to SA. We have, first of all, I have different reasons why you should visit South Africa. For cultural connection between Nigeria and SA. Then also we have for families that want to go to South Africa. We have a beautiful landscape in South Africa, which I feel some people don't even know that South Africa is a beautiful country. So we have beautiful landscape. That's the breathtaking view of Durban. We have the Sunscape city in South Africa. We have Cape Town. We have Joburg, which people can enjoy every cities. There are different activities for every cities.
I can hear from what you're saying is like apply early, or you don't apply, you don't get visa. What are the chances, of what are the conditions for the South African embassy to get a visa?
Okay, so for e-visa, I would say e-visa is actually easier to get than the regular sticker visa. With sticker visa, you have to provide account statements, 6-month bank statements. You provide all of those.
For tourism.
Yeah, for tourism, yes. You have to provide all of those things. But if you're doing an e-visa, then of course it's easier. And for people that have UK, US, Schengen, and other passports categories like that, it tends to be very easier for them to acquire the visa. Okay. Well, especially you can do e-visa, though it might be on the high side, but at least there's still tendency, at least 80% of you getting the visa. Anyway, it's subject to immigration discretion. Okay. Nobody has control over visa.
Okay, but I've heard that traveling to SA and some of this experience is really good value for money for Nigerians. We're looking at the economy, and when people put their money together, they want to make sure that they get good value. Is South Africa the experiences that you offer good value? Yes.
So for Wakana, what we do is curate for holiday packages. We create experiences, and we work according to everybody's budgets. Everybody's budget is different, so we work according to your budget to be able to create a nice and beautiful lifetime experience for.
So I know you represent Wakana. You want to talk about Wakana, but I also know that there's a reason why you want us to choose South Africa. So why South Africa?
So, like I said, because of all the activities in South Africa, South Africa is actually quite. Nigerians don't even know what they have in South Africa. So we have people that are adventurers. If you're adventurers, South Africa is the best place for you to visit. We have the Kruger National Park, we have Ado Elephant Park, we have the breathtaking Cape Town City, we have Sun City, we have, for families, we have, Durban is there for families to visit. Durban has
Are there travel packages? Special travel packages that you have?
Yes, we have travel packages for Easter.
What are the options?
We have to Cape Town, we have to Joburg, we have to Durban, we have for different cities, and we even have combo for you to enjoy 3 cities in one. That's going to Joburg, going to Cape Town and Durban, 3-in-1 packages for families, for solo travelers, for group. We curate packages for group too, for people that wants to go to for conferences, the exhibition, and all that. We create packages for all of that for.
So how do people reach you if they want to get? How do they reach?
Okay, so they can reach us via our Wakana portal. We have a website dedicated specifically for holidays. That's wakana.holidays.com. They can also reach us on via email holidays@wakana.com. Then we have several
But
contacts.
the handles on the screen is saying southafrica.net.
Travel to South Africa.
South Africa. Is that your company or that's different?
No, I represent Wakana, but in collaboration with Travel SA.
Okay, so they're also here?
No.
Okay, they're not here, but
Yes.
that's the handle
Travel
that we see on the screen.
Travel SA is just want us to promote.
Okay.
So they're one of the
partners. Yes, true, because you're one of their partners, so they want us to
gotcha.
promote South Africa.
I wanted to be sure there's no confliction because people are listening to you and they're seeing something else on the screen. Okay, okay, good.
So that's about for family, vacation, for solo travelers, for honeymooners. We have different categories of packages that is suitable for different categories.
Okay, nice. Any other is there a phone number they can reach you?
Yes. They can reach us on we can put it on the screen.
Okay. So that we can.
Specifically, we do more on holidays. On emails rather.
Oh, email is better for
yes,
you.
they can reach us at holidays@wakanow.com.
Okay,
they can also go to our portal. They can reach us via our portal, which is holidays@wakanow.com.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I think that's all we can take on this segment.
All right. Thank you so much.
We're going to go on a short break now. When we come back, continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results. So
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's
I
all
live
we can
Nigeria,
take.
but I choose to
Ejek,
stay.
close the show. Give for that long.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, number 1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym though, you're getting fat. naked.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked. No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the person you see some? What is his name?
That woman. Bam!
Yeah,
Today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's catch up now.
And don't been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. Entertainment for pure entertainment.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Oh, wow.
Do you feel this whole enhancement, the whole you do boobs, you do ass, does it now make you good in bed? You do your dick, does it make you good in bed? You do abs, are you now more attracted to your partner?
Are you more confident?
Exactly, to
After
now
you have done
perform
it.
well.
As a woman,
No.
you
Maybe
have bigger breasts, you have bigger. Come on, you feel more sexier.
Okay.
It's affecting in bed.
Okay,
you're like,
Beverly, you know what?
No,
I really want to hear your take,
the
but
experience of it doesn't change the experience.
I want to hear Desmond's side. I want to hear your own, but your own is making me feel somehow.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
I'm being serious.
Is
now.
that your trousers are going?
Hey!
Hey! Hagula Lumo!
Yes,
LGBTQ.
Oh my God.
Thanks for staying with us. So on this segment, we'll be discussing how do we strike a balance between a child's ability, either from academics, in school, and in character. How do we strike that balance, especially in raising children into adolescence? We have with us an adolescent expert, Oluwaseun Florence Dada, to give us some insights on how we can go about this. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
To the amazing ladies, good morning. It's
Thank
nice
you
to be
very
here.
much. You can join the conversation on 021-163-52013, 09024163440. You can also send us messages on X and also on YouTube. We'll be happy to read your thoughts. So, we're parents here, all of us, and striking that balance between trying to push your child to be smart in school, to get good grades, to be very versatile in various parts of their educational and cognitive abilities, and also character. So some parents that have a fear of, listen, as long as he's doing well in school, I don't care if she slaps somebody's face. That's just who he is or who she is. But at least he's getting 90%, he's an A student. That's all I care about. But some people would rather put more energy on character. How do we as parents strike a balance between both? Because they're both important.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Well, there is a saying that ability can take you to the top, but character will keep you there. So we are not undermining the position of abilities, maybe innate abilities, academic or what have you, maybe in sport and all of those things. But if you look at our society today, we will see that a lot of deficiencies we have to do with character. And when we talk about character, we are talking about admirable qualities, you know. So if you are very good, you are a straight student, you have all the certificates and all the rest. But when you get to workplace or maybe when you're outside, you cannot communicate well with people, you don't have respect, or you don't have what we call emotional intelligence and all of those things, people, you may lose out of favor. And then you may not be able to go far. So when we are talking about ability, we are talking about character, the two are important. But sadly, or let me say unfortunately, many today, I won't say parents, many today actually focus or put attention on ability at the expense of character. So there is a way we have to balance it. If not, we'll have more problems in our hands.
As a follow-up to that, for the ladies coming here, Donald Trump has bad behavior. He's the president of the United States. He has bad character. But somebody will say, I raised the Donald Trump and he's president, so why are you accusing me of having a bad behavior? Because sometimes bad behavior gets you ahead, don't you think?
Okay, if you have to look at it, let's take survey or sample. Yes, he's there, maybe by merit or what have you, but how many people are actually happy with the way he talks, the way he addresses people and all of that?
His policies.
I'm not, his policies, thank you. I'm not even sure, maybe the people inside will be saying, oh Dad, I'm proud of the things that you have said and the way you have reacted or responded to people.
You know, it seems the world these days endorses bullying. Because I saw a video, somebody is supportive of Trump addressing women who were just minding their business in hijab, saying that they should go back to their country. And they were Americans born in America who have chosen a different faith. And what made Trump popular, you know, for breaking the norm, it's like the big bully is now president. You know, everything that contravenes common sense is now supposed to be popular. You know, they say don't belong. Stand out. Yes. So you whatever your bad behavior is, you use it to stand out. If you bully others and you get away with it, it's supposed to be you being unique in a way. How do we establish how do we establish what is standard? Courtesy. Those things that we were raised with, you know, showing courtesy, showing empathy, those kind of things. Skills. Personal skills. How do we reestablish that in society?
Fine. Well, there's this popular saying that charity begins at home. So whoever you see out there, before they get to where they are, they're coming from somewhere. So everything boils down to the home, everything boils down to the family. And when we talk about the home, we talk about the family, we are going to talk about parents. So it's the onus lies on parents to make sure that all of these things are taught from home. All of these things are started right from the very beginning. So it is not about, oh, just go to school first. Oh, that one is a minus. Everything should start, you know, pari passu. The way we are pursuing academic excellence, we should also pursue character development in children. If at, say,
what
from
if
the age of...
makes it now? What if he arrives? Does it matter?
But that does not mean that mediocrity or what is not good or what is bad should be celebrated. True. The fact that maybe somebody is up there, is a president, is saying things that are not okay or championing bullying, that is not a license for other people to do it. Yeah. So okay, it still remains the fact that that thing is not good. Bullying is not good, or whatever thing is not good is not good.
Okay, so let's talk to the parents for a bit. So this reminded me of the time I was in the classroom as a classroom teacher, and then there are kids that are very well behaved. I will have to give them best behaved award, and the parents come back fighting. Why not maths? Why not language? Why not science? Why are you giving my child best behave? Every time best behave, and we try to explain that, of course, your child is good in so and so and so, but your child stands out in this, but they're not having it. They feel that we're using it to compensate a child that is not doing well.
Sounds like Mr. Brown. Go ahead.
So how do you get parents to understand right now, because they are the ones raising the children, that academics is good, having the good grades is also good, but there are certain things that the child should also learn, and in a way that the child is also learning from home, because you cannot in the classroom teach the child all the good behavior and they go home, they cannot, there's no follow-up. So how do we get parents to understand that these things are equally important? As a matter of fact, more important than even the academics, if you ask me.
Thank you very much. I think I'm going to take my position with you. Well, everything starts from orientation, awareness. Okay, I work in a place where there is this constant awareness, you know, getting parents engaged you know, making them to realize that it is not only about academics, you know, their presence and maybe the things that they teach to the children. Okay, when the school is moving in a particular direction and then the parents are not carried along, or the parents are not even aware, they are not reinforcing what the school is doing, we're going to have little or no result. So everything boils down to your question, we are going to engage the parents. To engage them, sensitize them, create that awareness that it is not only about academics, but also about character. I personally, I like, shall I say, beauty with brains, you know, you have good behavior and then you also know your onions. I'm okay with that.
We all are. So for me, I want us to concentrate particularly on adolescents. And we know during that period, children are sort of finding themselves. Sometimes they behave like they're adults, sometimes they behave like they're babies, you know, and they have made a number of mistakes during that age, you know, and you find parents a bit getting frustrated, overwhelmed, really, because you're wondering, what is it I'm not doing right or I'm doing wrong? And then you now have that vis-a-vis their attitude towards school. Some of them are able to still do well in school, but because, you know, they are struggling in character and things like that, it somewhat reflects in their academics. How would you advise a parent who is struggling with kids like that, or teachers actually as well, who has a student like that? How would you encourage them to help them find themselves, balance that ability, academics, as well as character?
Well, I'm going to pick it up from, you said, finding identity crisis. They are not yet an adult, and at the same time, they are
not babies.
They are not babies. So everybody went through that, or maybe we didn't go through that. But the times that we are in, there are a lot of factors responsible for that. Okay, I'll come up with another saying that parenting is not something that is very easy. So I personally, I have a teenager. So like 3 years ago, or say 5 or say 4 years ago, we, you know, we understand ourselves a lot. But today, I think I'm learning a lot. I don't have to lie. I'm learning a lot. So a lot of patience, a lot of tolerance, understanding, listening to them, speaking to them, encouraging them, and also working with the school. And that is why even educators is not an audio, okay, I have the subject mastery. What about that emotional intelligence to be able to understand that, yes, connection, thank you, ma'am, that what this boy is going through is not just that the boy wants to behave like this or the girl wants to behave like this. So the parents and also the teachers, they have to work together. A lot of tolerance and understanding, you know, for the children.
Staying on the issue of adolescence, I like to stick to that because I know there are a lot of parents going through the issue of sex education. Young people are having all sort of hormones jumping all over the place. They want to experiment. I mean, we've been through that phase in our lives where you had your parents, you're constantly hiding. But these days, kids don't seem to be hiding anymore. It's like it's right in front of them, and information about it is right at their fingertips. So as an educator, which you are, your teacher, how do you work? What are the challenges you faced in addressing these sex education and teenagers, and how are you addressing it?
Okay, I didn't plan to say this, but I have to say this now because you brought in a very sensitive talk, a very sensitive discussion. April 13 to 17, I'll be hosting an event for young people, Sex Ed Essential Course. I'm sorry, maybe I'm not meant to say that.
Go ahead.
Why? It actually came from a place. The last time it was all about bullying because I work in school, I work with children, maybe in the church and all of that, so I know the things that are going on. And sometimes you see that parents have not even, I won't say they have not done anything, maybe they have not even done half of what they are supposed to do. So where do they pick all of those things from? Conversation, you know, just using words anyhow. So if you ask me, I think it is time for parents to talk to their children about sex education. And I'm not going to say, okay, maybe start at the age of 4. You know, we have age appropriate. For the sex ed course that is coming up, it is age appropriate. You know, the discussion and the materials, they are in line with that. So even teachers, I have a lot of conversation. Oh, somebody said this, you have make here and all of that. You know, some of the children, based on the things that they watch, you know, the conversation, the peak around, they don't really know they don't have full understanding of the things that they are saying.
Let me pause you for a second because I have a son, one of my sons. I traveled, I came back home. And when I came, I sat down with them. And my son came to me and asked me, Mommy, what's his, he asked me 2 questions. Okay. So, Mommy, what does pornography mean?
Wow.
And he asked me, the other one, what's that thing? That thing you always say now when they are the pidgin version of doing the do. What's that?
Oh,
name?
knack.
Nah, hey, God bless you. She said, what is knack? That was the first question. I took a deep breath. I said, where did you get that from? He said, one TikTok guy mentioned it.
Okay.
I said, okay. I said, can I see the video so I have an idea, understand the context? So I saw what the guy was trying to say. Then, after I answered that question, he now came back to me and said, Mom, what is pornography? So now, his older sister came to me and said, Mommy, they asked me when you travel. I told them that they should wait for you to come back. So please, I need you to address it with them. And I'm thinking, Auntie, so you're acting like an expert. But you yourself the child. So you know. So I now called everybody for a meeting. Yeah. And we started breaking it down. I had to tell them exactly what it is. Yeah. So, I mean, it was uncomfortable for me, but for him to come and ask me. So my question now to you as an educator is, how do we know the right time to have this conversation? Because it might not be, the parent might not be lucky that they'll come and ask you. Go and ask somebody outside. So if I wasn't lucky enough to have this child come to me, what if you're going to ask somebody outside? So I shouldn't have addressed it early. I mean, would that be better if I had addressed it earlier?
What is even age appropriate for? I don't know how your explanation went to it. What would be
that right child is that's the sex education.
You said they were age appropriate. For instance, if we were to talk about knack for a child below 10, there will be shouldn't there be an age appropriate definition for it that will be different from what you say to a teenager?
So I told them it's the 3-letter word, right? Okay. But it's the pidgin version. Yeah. So I explained that these are them. So they know what it is. Let's not pretend. They know exactly what. Yeah. So I said it's a 3-letter word, but this is the pidgin version. And then pornography, I explained to them. Now this, and of course I broke it down. And I said these things happen, and let me start saying. Don't explain it.
Okay.
Because you asked me the question.
What's age appropriate? Yeah.
The question you asked. Nowadays, we have children starting school as early as 2 years, and they are very, what shall I say? They can talk. Yes, they can speak. They understand. So, we start from there. Go and bring this, and the child can bring it. Don't let anyone touch your private parts. This is your private parts. This place are private. No one kisses you on the lips and all of that. So, it starts from there. So, the higher the child goes, then the learning will continue. So
when should you panic?
Let me tell you let me just add something that's funny. When my son was about 4 or 5, we were on our way from church. He just started shouting the F word in the car. I'm telling you, from church. What did they discuss in church? Yeah, I remember my nanny was there. She just she panicked, and I was like, no. And then we had a conversation. I said it was a bad word because for him, I didn't have the conversation of this is what it entails because he was 4. I knew he must have just heard the word somewhere and was repeating it. But definitely, he's much older, and we have had this conversation. So yeah.
So I was asking that when should you panic? Because when my son was 4, my neighbor was breastfeeding her child, and he said, "Cover your breast." And she covered his mouth and said it was an appropriate word. But this is a child that the moment he was a year old, would say, "Mommy, sit down, I want breast." When he could, those were the first words he could say. So when should you watch? When are they not no longer appropriate? When should you worry as a parent? Because in our age, we couldn't even
say those things.
The words were all modified, and we had different names for them.
Okay. Someone like me, I have 3 boys, and I'm not sure I've never for once panic, maybe because I'm an educator. So I've actually talked to them about it. Okay, I think what would be okay is to prepare parents that start talking about it as very early. So, and at the same time, you let your children know these things are not to be said anyhow or carelessly. Okay, or for the child that said cover your breast, you can actually tell an adult or someone closer to the person who is exposing the breast, not to just say carelessly the way it is said. And they are private things that actually should be kept private. So the words should not just be thrown around anyhow. So we should talk to our children and let them know that these things are very, very important.
I think the fear is many parents are shy to have that conversation with their children. Yes, because they also do not understand how to simplify it, or they can't even face the conversation. So I've spoken to quite a number of parents who they are looking for somebody to help them talk to their child about sex. And the children have gone from 10 to 12 to 13 to 16, and yet they can't sit down and say this and this is it. So how do we help them remove that shyness? Because the truth of the matter is, from the age of 8, a child is already accountable. A child is already beginning to know things, right? There's some knowledge that comes naturally without even them watching anything or seeing anything. As their body is evolving with that knowledge. Yes, there's an awareness already. So why pretending that my children don't watch this, they don't do this, they go to school, they mingle with people who watch this and that, things, and they have those conversations. So how do we remove that shyness? Sit your child down and talk about certain things. Aside from the body parts, the dating, I have people who have not had conversations about dating with their teenagers. The kissing, you'll be shocked that some of these kids have even kissed in school. And you don't know because you have not asked. The having relationships, you know, then the trying to, when somebody's trying to groom you into, let's quickly do this. So if you don't love me if you don't do this and all of that. How do we remove that shyness from our eye and talk to these children?
I wanted to add to that, you know, every time we talk about talking to our children, we always talk about the easy one, which is what we're talking about children from 13 and above. That conversation has to be a little more detailed than what you have with an 8-year-old.
Okay, I'll pick the question out from what you said. There is no way to remove that shyness and to just talk about it. Encourage fellow parents, you know, women to women or men to men. I even know that some men can teach or talk to their daughters about sex education.
They should talk to their boys.
They talk to their boys. Are you sure?
Men talk to their boys. Women talk to their girls. Yes.
Okay. What if you have the situation whereby the man is not around?
That one is different. We can find an uncle
to talk about
a reasonable uncle.
It's not meant to be an awkward moment. Actually, it's a parent-to-child relationship. So there is no way to do it. You just have to talk about it. Because like we said, if a parent does not talk about it to their child, they have learnt about it or they are hearing it, and then they may make mistakes in the process. So the shyness or the panic should be removed and face it. This is the time we are in. We don't have to pretend as if these things are not existing.
I feel that men find it harder to discuss these things with their children.
It's true. Even with their boys.
Yes. So you find the mothers having the conversation.
That's a really intense question. I had to sit down. I started breaking it down one by one, and he was asking me.
So I would like to know why they find
You'd rather not.
I don't know why.
You know. So we need more men to.
So the men would say normally, my father did not sit down to talk to me about it.
They laughed on the street. I want to also pack the sex education on one side. There's another part I'd like you to touch on because I know we've taken a bit more of your time than I expected. Adolescents again. Going into university, many of them are traveling abroad, many of them are hoping to pass universities, and a lot of focus is not just on academics. You see schools saying, what have you done? What are the extracurricular activities you've done? So we need, relating to what you're saying, as in how do we strike that balance? How as us, especially Nigerian parents, our own is just get 90%. We don't want to know these extra things. It's too much work, taking you out to do community service. Those are just extras. So in your own experience as an educator, what are schools looking for, both within and outside the country, and how do we prepare our children to be equipped for that?
Okay, thank you very much. I think everything still boils down to the family, to the home. Well, I know we have some children are outgoing and some are reserved. So if we have a reserved child, and knowing fully well they'll be traveling abroad to school outside the country where they are going to ask for volunteering and all of those things, what they have done outside the classroom. So it behoves a parent to actually start talking to them. It is not only you have to come out of your shell, find something to do. It may not be everywhere, but find something to do. And how do we do this? From the home, we have to engage them. Some parents don't engage their children in chores. If you engage them in chores, and that will actually help them on getting to school, it won't be a big problem for them. So the two actually have to come together and be balanced. So encourage them. You will need this. The school outside there will request for this. So make sure you find yourself doing something meaningful that you will be proud of.
There was something you had mentioned earlier, bullying, even though it's not the core of our message today, but I wanted to bring it up because I had a conversation with someone and she said that every time people talk about bullying, they talk about it from the aspect of children bullying each other. But we never discuss about teachers bullying children. And some children or adults have said their issues was not because they were bullied by students, they were bullied by their teachers. And so they acted in ways that, you know, they acted in ways that were unpalatable to adults because of that teacher bullying. Can you discuss that with us?
Oh, I don't have much experience about adults or teachers bullying their students because the students are actually in the custody of the teachers. They have to take care of them. But a number of factors may be responsible. Yes, and I'm not going to dispute the fact that those things do not happen. After all, we heard news, people just hitting children and all of that. So,
Let me give an example, ma.
Okay.
As a teacher, you see a child, look at you are fat like this. You're very fat.
Yes.
Or comparing. Can't you be, can't you see her? She's looking at her like, oh, she's so pretty. You're so fine, And other kids are looking, comparing kids. So teachers do it subconsciously. Not that they intentionally want to make them feel bad. So those things happen, and it cuts deep to a child.
Yes, it does.
Okay, what will I say? Every teacher listening to me out there, please make sure you don't in any way bully your students. We have to be mindful of the things that we say.
Yes. Can I add something for you? Also for, I don't know how the public school system works, but also for private schools. Do you think that the teachers are trained properly in terms of, aside from the academic qualifications?
The subject mastery.
Yes, the subject mastery. You are good in maths, you're a major in this and that. Do you think they are trained and equipped in things like child psychology, which also helps them better handle the students? Because some of this bullying and some of this, we've seen teachers who will make some very funny comments, and then the child goes home and repeating what the teacher is saying, and it's unheard of. It's an adult sort of conversation which was had in the classroom. Do you think that teachers are trained properly to be able to handle the emotional needs of the children aside from the academics? Because I see more of the focus on the academics. You're just a mastery at this, but then you can bring down a child with your words and you don't even see it as anything, as if you've done anything.
Okay, my answer will not be a direct one. I won't say yes and I won't say no. I'm an educator. So it depends on the type of school we are looking at. Ordinarily, it's supposed to be, you are coming into education, whatever, let's maybe degree or NC, the aspect of psychology should have gone through. But many of us actually, should I include myself? Many people actually
jumped into the teaching without giving
no, I'm not talking about jumping. Passed through school, and school did not actually pass through us.
Oh, wow.
So some of those things might have been taught, but they are not put into practice.
Not
but I know
consciously taught, not consciously absorbed.
But I know of schools that they do training for their teachers. It's one thing to do training, is another thing for the so-called teachers to actually implement the things that are taught. So by and large, if you're an educator, you find yourself where you are being trained or not, make sure that you develop yourself. I personally have learned a lot of patience, a lot of tolerance being a teacher.
I think that's all we can take with you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Mr.
you, ma'am.
It was a pleasure having you, to learn from you as an educator. Once you sound like a teacher.
Yes.
Your voice projected very loud. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Appreciate you.
Thank you very
That's
much.
all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
By 220 or 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show, Yi Fadala.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym though, you're getting fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer,
you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You scissors. What is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Today we'll go here.
Hey!
Let's catch up.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay tuned to Entertainment for Pure Entertainment.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Oh, wow. My typical day.
Thanks for staying with us. Still on children and education. Unfortunately, our guest had gone, but there were a few hot topics that have been going around social media. There was one that a child was seen, children were seen bitten by their teacher either in lesson or in class. I don't think they were in uniforms. And this video went viral where the woman obviously was abusing, this kid. Now, some will watch that video and say, this is exactly how we're beating when we're kids. Others will say, it's never happened to them. But the issue of bullying a child, especially as an adult, because I think we asked the question to our guest earlier, how when teachers bully students. In the video, which I'm not sure if our producer will be able to play it for you, where we saw a teacher using the whip, using the cane to beat the child repeatedly on their head because maybe they're not getting their classwork done.
And then she added slaps to it.
And then she added slap to it. Hey. Now, how far is too far for a teacher? Remembering that we've also passed through something similar growing up, and people say, is that not how you were trained? Why are you making a fuss over it? What are your thoughts?
Where we passed through and we change. Where we passed through it, we did not get better. I don't know maths because of the way it was taught.
Same here. Same here.
It's not that I'm taking my kids' maths. I see how simple it was. I was like, actually, you don't even know this something simple. Because I'm looking at the examples again, wondering, why did the teacher not show me? Once you tell the teacher, wow. You know, and I don't understand. You never get to understand whatever it is you were taught. And all of us had our learning difficulties. All of us. Even my elder sister, who I always admire for her excellent A's from when we were babies to her university distinction, I knew she had a difficulty in some form. She was not an open social person. So for when she needs to talk, I had to be called. But she had to talk for her. Wow. But she was a bookworm. My father was always proud of her books. But she had something she was deficient in. Nobody was born perfect. So you see a child, you're teaching the child is not understanding the thing, and you started slapping the child. I was privileged to teach a boy. The boy today, excellent businessman. He went into carpentry. Excellent, because I see his funds. He's also keeping his money in my custody. So I see how much he is earning business-wise. But this boy, his parents couldn't have detected that he was dyslexic.
Dyslexia.
We play video, and he would not still understand. I bought Queen Premier to teach him to read, because at the time I took him on, he was 14 turning 15. He was in primary 2. He was living with both parents. And all the teachers did was condemn this boy. So by the time I got married and I went out of my job after I had my child, I just was at home, and the mom was just talking about it to me. I was like, wait till the teacher come, the teacher, and I let him be coming. So every evening, this boy will come to me, and I'll be teaching him. I noticed that when we're talking, he's smart enough, but when I insist on the books, he sweats.
The fear.
He sweats. Trauma. And so when I insisted on him finishing school, thinking there would be a way out. So we were able to do, his just one admission for him. I had to go and work it for the family. But when he got into school, he came to the family and said, at this age where he is, sitting with those in class, he just wants to go and learn a trade. And he learnt that trade. He's doing so well at that trade. He's earning so well. I'm so proud of him. I've not even sat to talk to him about it, because he's still shy. Whenever he sees me, when I say, you didn't finish school, I'm not happy with you, he will look down. He's still shy around me. But this boy is excellent. And that deficiency, people killed it. I know now when he's earning, he can find a better way of learning, and he will do better. But imagine that I joined the world to be knocking his head.
Him.
What would you get?
When I started teaching the very first time after the training we did, and then we started doing some research, and we came across Howard Gardner's intelligence theory, which says that we have about 9 different intelligences, and they are all on different levels. So you can be mathematical intelligent, you are special intelligence, your language, like that. I cried. I cried in class. If my classmates at the time, because we were graduate trainees, would remember vividly, I cried because I now realized why I was not passing maths, and they nearly killed me because of that. And it was so painful that I am supposed to be mathematical intelligence, because mathematics and music go together. Music has a lot of calculations, beats and rhythm and all of that. So I was looking for why was I not mathematically smart at this level? It was just the way the teaching was done. They could not. That was when we started understanding that some children are visual, others are auditory, others are kinesthetic. I happen to fall into the kinesthetic group. Auditory and kinesthetic. So for me to be able to learn fast, you have to do it with me. I'm a doer. We have to do it together, not just stand in front of the board and teach me. And unfortunately, many teachers do not have these skills. They do not understand, especially those are low-income schools where we're just trying to survive, just push them. There's one nursery school teacher that will just flog them and teach them. They don't have all of this knowledge. And so you call a child Olodo just because the child is not understanding at the pace that you are teaching. And you only know one way to teach. You don't even know, because I remember in the classrooms then, for you to do a lesson plan, you have to cover all the ways of teaching. Auditory is inside, kinesthetic inside, so that every child is attended to in one lesson. It was a lot of work, but we had to learn the right way. And so this deficiency we are calling this particular person is not a deficiency. His intelligence is just more tilted to one corner, which could have been boosted for him, and then the other ones he'll find a way to just help him. It doesn't stop. I'm glad he's successful, because you can now see that it doesn't stop his success. He's still an intelligent person, but his intelligence is different. It's so unfortunate that we don't know these things, and then we carry our frustration as teachers, and then we start beating these children. The kind of knock I've collected in my life, this normal that I'm normal, I'm not very normal if you look at me very well. I still believe that I wouldn't have been this way if I wasn't
giving those sort of beating. You know, the kind of beating that you feel like you should die. Sometimes I was beaten to a point in school that I fell sick for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yes, and it was an English teacher, Mrs. Oyibo. I will always remember her. I can never forget. Mrs. Oyibo squeezed my stomach, use long pancere, those heavy ones, to flog me. I fell sick.
Where is she?
I don't know where she is. I don't care where she is. Mrs. Oyibo, English teacher, AGGS. I can never forget. And she was known as a notorious person. It's wickedness. If you cannot regulate your temper, you shouldn't be a teacher. Because children will test. Our own children test us now.
Of course.
Children will test you. As they are growing, it even gets worse. I will stand with my son and we are having arguments. He's giving me his point. I'm giving him my point. He's giving me his point. At some point, I'm like, Kabdele, so I don't get triggered. Enter your room. We'll have this conversation later. Because now I understood. I dared not have such conversations with my father growing up. I would have collected 7 slaps at the same time. So we need to do better. I don't know how we can regulate these people who don't have, they too in their mind feel that they are helping society. The parents that are sending those children to those people also feel that this is all we can afford. That's the best we can do. And then the mentality of the typical African that if they don't flog you, you don't have sense is also there.
I mean, I know of a parent. Okay, go ahead, Mary. Let me let you jump in.
Okay. So, you know, many times when we talk about this abusive nature of teaching our children, we tend to push it to that's how we are as Africans. But my son in their school next term they're studying Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. So we're reading it again, and it's just so eye-opening because the story is based on pre-colonial times, and they were talking about how Okonkwo was with his children, and in the book it shows that he was overly strict. It was too, like, he had too much. He acted in a way that was just too aggressive with his children, with his family, or whoever, you know. And that means it showed to me that even then we knew what abuse was. Even then it was not acceptable. So why did we make it like this is an African thing? It's who we are. We beat. We don't beat. People that beat are just people who have issues. Because Okonkwo definitely had his issues. So for me now, that has really changed my thinking that this is, now that I understand that this is not just innately us, it's just that there are some people who have been allowed to do this for so long that we have not accepted it as our person and our culture. So now we have to insist on human beings. If you're going to be a teacher and you're a human being, behave like a human being, behave with kindness, behave. And if you know you cannot, if you know you are going to get so frustrated and so overwhelmed that you're about to kill somebody's child, please leave. It is not our nature, it is not in the black man's blood to be aggressive and to be wicked to children. It's not. It's a problem, and that's what we need to deal with.
You know, I know of a family that this was a major issue, where the father wanted the child to go to a lesson where they beat, right? And the mother insisted, you cannot. He caused a serious fight, because in his own thinking, beating was a way of discipline. And that discipline such that the child must know that as an adult, we have a right over you. Because how do you subject a child to full discipline without beating? That was the person's understanding. But the woman, you know how women are going to all these courses and they're learning all these things and they're saying there are better ways of raising children. So the question is, how do we strike that balance? Because I mean, that was what the question asked our guest. From parent, mother, father, have two different ways of thinking, but how do we find it? Because some will say, I spank, but not too much. I talk, but I also need to spank. So how do we mix it such that it's not so much?
Yes, so the question is, what does discipline mean to you? What is the end goal of the discipline? Is it for correction? Is it supposed to be corrective or punitive? If your goal for discipline is correction, we want our children to behave better. Are there other ways you can get them to behave better? I don't beat I beat them when they were small, especially the boy, because he will break almost everything in the house, right? So I needed to give him some smacking. But I now realize that that's not what I need for him. But I can have a conversation with him. And one of the ways I punish him is to take out the things that he loves. So he loves to play his games, he loves to do sport and all of that. Once I say, we're taking this out, he comports himself. The end goal is that I want him to comport himself. I want him to be respectful to everybody he sees. I want him to behave better. I want him to do well in school, respect his teachers, respect his peers. I don't want them using foul language. You know, those are some of the things that I want. And how am I able to achieve it without beating him? By having a conversation, by giving him set rules. These are the rules. No, hold on. No, listen now. No, you need to find out what works for the child. Like I said initially, I said I used to beat him. Did I not say that? When he was a lot younger, when he would not even hear what I'm saying most of the time, I did some smacking, but I did not beat him to death. I did not beat him the one that will knock his head. I get better if I knock his head and I injure him. I really want to take him to the hospital. The problem is that the teachers beat a child that they did not birth. So they don't know where the pain point is.
But basically, you've not heard parents say, I will beat you, I go kill you, na me born you.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
It's
growing up.
It's a common sentence saying we grew up with. If I beat you, you die, I bury you, na me born you. I heard it too many times growing up. The only person I never heard it from was my dad. You see, my mom, if I finish, you this speaking cannot kill me. If I kill you, I go bury you. It was supposedly allowed, even though she would not. But parents did it. Some parents, to prove to society that you're a good parent,
that is it.
You go and bring
you catch them.
It's not enough. You now bring cutlass. Use the back of cutlass, beat your child because people want to watch you. Were things that I saw growing up.
Yes.
You bring this boy is being a boy, whereas now that we are grown and we are looking at it in retrospect, these boys were being boys with the energy that they
had naturally.
You be catching them, they will not stay. They will go to school with two shoes, come with one leg.
One stockings.
I went to school and came back with a bag of sand in my hair because I like to roll down one slope around school. It was a valid thing, was like this.
No school bag.
I enjoyed it. Thinking about it now, it's giving me some excitement. Just coming back from school, just see that slope and go there and just slide. And they carry sand. We don't have toys now. So we just go there, slide, and come home with bags of sand in the hair. And that was how we grew.
We're playing.
We didn't die.
We need to understand, though, that children need to be children. We are always in a hurry to make them adults before their time.
You know that thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
What you just said, I've seen that as well. They said naturally human beings at different stages of our development, we're meant to be running around and moving about. But we have a modern society where we keep children cooped up in a room for hours on end. It's not natural for that human body to be kept in there. And instead of us to create our education around our natural disposition and development, we are doing it against it. And so we have issues like that where some people are able to conform. For many other kids, they haven't been able to conform, and then we call them all sorts of names. ADHD, I think is what it was. A lot of people were misdiagnosed with that ADHD. They were given medicines to help them calm down anxiety and things like that. And usually when I've heard stories when the children are taken out of those enclosed environments and let loose,
they thrive.
They do well because they're allowed to play, they're allowed to do other things, and then go back and sit down and have a conversation.
Still talking about children, I thought I had a call, but I lost that call. Still talking about children, because I'd like also to link this to another story that went viral where a child was helping her mother early in the morning to sweep, and that went viral because people would call that also child abuse. So one thing to slap and beat up a child. It's another thing to make a child follow you to work early in the morning to do your own work and possibly maybe go to school later. And I think it was Tokwe that mentioned it a few days ago when we touched on it, that many people, even Nima has, who said, I worked with my mother because it was what we had to do. So why was that seen as child abuse?
Who's Siam as child abuse? Who is the person that saw it?
So we went viral because the video went viral where the two had posted the video where she was recording the woman and the child sleeping, and she was accusing her. Why would you let this child
Why was she recording the woman, knowing the circumstances that we all are in Nigeria? That's one. The woman may not have had, if she had asked the question, why is she here? Why is she not in school? What's happening? She may have understood. The woman may not have had a place to leave the child. She leave the place, child for predators to go and rape before she gets back home. Answer.
The woman said she's on holiday.
One.
That's why she brought her. So if she's in school, she does not come with her.
Thank you.
So if you had asked those questions,
you will know exactly. And
she was
we have always
in her video. She didn't allow the woman put in the word.
Imagine. So we have always talked about the fact that our children need to understand where we work. They need to know the sort of work we do. We have a lot of adults who do not value the dignity of work anymore because nobody took them to where their parents. You see a yakara, the woman has been frying akara, sent you to school from the akara. You come back and you are shy. You cannot even sit in the store. You cannot. But it's the akara that trained you in the university. So she has been sweeping. That sweeping has been what has been taking care of you. So you should know where she works. You should understand that my mother is hardworking. This is the level where she is right now. This is what I can do to assist. I'm on holiday for crying out loud.
Say that child labor is
there's nothing like child labor. Not this table.
It's a both things.
No, not this table.
This table from Oyibo they say because we grew up. My parents, I used to hear my mom and her friends say, "God no go let me born pikin when no go pity me." The meaning is that when you're lowest, you're struggling, your kids, when they see you, they show some form of concern. I had to let go of a girl. When I employed her mom, she came, I told her mom I needed a staff in my business, and she brought the girl, looked at her qualification, auntie, you should be helping your mom. The day she came in, her mom was cleaning my house, and she walked past her mom as if she didn't know her, right before me. I told her straight, I said, we call her back. I said, all this lawyer you see, packaging. I say, if you put me to an engine, if I grind pepper for you, you shock. Because that's my mother's trait.
Yes.
We were known in that estate for Omoyelero. We were proudly. So. I started quite early, just one. Once my mother is not there, I will make money. We're grinding at 1 naira 30 kobo those days. Huge money. Every night she gives me 1 naira 30 kobo after my as commission. I was already making money. And that's how we grew. If you check in our own African stories, you hear that the goldsmith's son will be assisting. The farmer's son will assist them. So when we started to define child labor by Oyibo standards, we started to demonize the ways and practices that kept us survive. You were right before your parents and over their custody.
Salisu, thanks for calling from Jos. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Hello. Good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. I always appreciate your line of discussion, so keep it up. Please, you guys kindly help me out. Hello, kindly help me out.
It's what?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
You're listening to the TV. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello, my 18-year-old has built a brick wall between him and myself. This is an adolescent issue. What is the way out?
He has built a brick wall.
Yes, and to my sister, Mariam, the epic Things Fall Apart. I have the set, the movie was, NT at one time televised the whole series.
Okay.
Okonko in his life was ruled by fear.
Yes.
And that was regarded as a weakly. So as such, all throughout, what Okonko was doing was trying to differentiate himself from his father, who was a weakly, and who at the time died from an abominable disease and was thrown in the evil forest.
As a reader.
But Okonko in the series also had quality time for his children. I remember in one of the places in the book, one of the daughters was he was even advising that he said to her, sit like a woman. I remember.
Thank you, Salisu.
Thank you, Salisu.
So let me come to you, Madam Coach. And then teacher. I'll come to Mariam after. This when a teenager, an 18-year-old built a brick wall.
Don't near adult too. It remains just 2 years.
No, this 18 years.
I know. Don't near adult already now. 19, 20. Yes, he's already thinking like an adult. It's something I would have to have a one-on-one conversation, so I can ask questions. How did it get to that point? When did you notice the brick wall? Were you always present? Did you lay some of the ground foundations to have conversations, to open up? Because sometimes when a child finally breaks that wall, something must have gone wrong. It's not what I can discover here, but what I can advise is call the child and have a conversation with open-mindedness. Ask the question, where have I gone wrong? And keep quiet. Let the child speak. Africans, we don't like to hear from our children. We feel like, what do you know? You're a child and all of them. Allow the child bear his mind if he's ready. Anytime he's not ready for the conversation, leave it. Call him again. Say, I want to know what I have done. I want to know where I have gone wrong. I want to know your thoughts on this. Have that conversation, then you can pick it up from here, because a lot of things may be going on in the child's mind.
What do you think? Yeah, for me, of course, definitely, it's just, you know, we'll have to look deeper into the reasons why. But just generally, some of the things that I've come across recently that we're talking about is that men need to understand that the world has changed. And what was required of a man or a father has changed a lot, has evolved since then. Many of our Nigerian fathers still hold on to the way their fathers raised them. You're hardly ever in communication with your children. As long as you provide, the mothers are there to help do, you know, raise the child, and your children defer to you. They don't really have a relationship with you. And now we have men who, you know, have raised their children that way, but want the proceeds of modern relationship with their children. Do you understand? So they are now seeing those who have done that work, and their children are conversing, and they are wondering why you are not having that relationship. But the style that you started with was not, you know, did not allow for that. So you have to be deliberate about forming a relationship with your child. And I know sometimes we may say he's the child now, he should do that. But no, in this place, you have to be the bigger person and start a relationship. And it's not just between fathers and children, even among siblings. You know, I was just thinking yesterday that with my younger brother, he's my brother, I love him, but we have worked on a relationship where he's now my paddy. We've taken, like I took time, he and I, we had a conversation, we now took the time to work on our friendship. And now, beyond being my brother, he's also my friend. I mean, especially since that there's such a huge age gap between us. So fathers, I would advise him, call your son somewhere, have a conversation with him, tell him how you feel about this brick wall and what can I do, you know, that, you know, can help break this down. And I feel that he will get some.
Let me take Tunde from Magodo. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Murayo.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you. I'm one of your fans of your program.
Okay.
But I just want to add to the program.
Yes.
I have 2 daughters, and they school in US. So the last one, about 3 or 5 years ago, she was 17 then. So she came back home. She told me that she wanted to go for a party at Lekki. You know, and they not knowing that her mom knows the lady's mother. So the night told her, "You are 17." When I was like you, I said, "What kind of a party? Is it overnight?" I said, "You are going for a party overnight at 17." When I was like you, I dare not tell my parents that I'm going for a party at night. I said, "No." He said, "Daddy, don't you know I'm mature?" I said, "You are still on that 17. You are not in US. You are in Nigeria. You don't know what's going on in Nigeria. They can get you drunk and rape you. You can be harmed or anyhow." He started crying. Soon now, you soon leave your house. When I get married, I said, "Till then, when you get married, you leave my house. Then you are mature then." No, that's it. I stand on my feet. And my mom was saying that she should go. I said, "No. You are not going
Mr.
anywhere."
Tunde, she lives abroad. There's a possibility that she goes out. She's going out anyway, 17, overnight with her friends.
Yeah, so what's the question?
But my point is that there's a possibility she's already doing it in the US. So what's the difference between her doing it there and here?
I can't hear you.
I said, because she lived abroad. She lives abroad. What's the difference with her doing it there and here in Nigeria? Because she probably goes out to party abroad also.
Abroad is safety. There's security everywhere there. Compared to Nigeria here.
Okay. I get where he's coming from.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
If it's a security issue.
Yeah.
If it's a security issue, well, then I guess maybe he's sure of that. But there's something, a panel that I listened to. I'd gone for a children's conversation. And one of the parents was talking about how he takes his child to concerts and sits in his car and waits for her to come out early in the morning. She enters the car as he drives her back home. Yes, like this is what that's what I mean. That is what fathers are doing now. Evolved. Things have changed. So okay, we understand you need your social life. Okay, how do I do it so that you are protected here? So in Nigeria, where the protection is not there, I will provide that protection. But also, of course, definitely, if a parent feels that if you're going to a place that is not safe for you, then by all means, stand your ground.
Yeah, it's also good. Then also, we need to be very careful so that we don't have children who have split personalities. I like the question you asked. What if she's already doing the same thing abroad? Because many of us had to grow up splitting our personalities. So when we come home,
we give you the good child that you know, that you want us to be, right? Then when we go to school, we do our own thing, right? And it becomes very difficult for you to know your child. So it's important that if you're saying no, you have a proper conversation on why you are saying no. And I like the fact that he explained that it was because of security reasons in Nigeria and all of that. You find a way to just make the child understand that I'm not stopping you from doing this, but for us to be able to do this, you must have this and this and this in place for your own safety. It's better that way, so that it's not like the child now tomorrow they won't tell you that they are going for a party till you're not around.
So that's because I said so.
Yes, we should stop that.
I have Rocco. Thanks for calling from Suleja.
Because I'm a man.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. So I want to talk about Adeto. What she did is very wrong.
Okay.
As a child.
Go ahead. Rocco, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you live. Go ahead,
Yes,
please.
okay. So as a child, I don't think there's nothing something like child labor in Nigeria. When I was growing up, my grandma used to fry akara. My mom will wake us up. My grandma's house is a bit far from our house. She will wake us up to go and help grandma in our akara business. And we'll wake up as early as 5 o'clock and go there and help my grandma to in our akara business. What that woman did is very wrong. Showing the girl's face is so wrong.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think we should correct the foundation. There is something called child labor. Because the truth is that a child, especially during school hours, should be in school and should not be seen doing labor.
This
Now, outside those school hours, if your child is with you doing some kind of labor, it's your child. You know, I don't know if it's allowed, but I guess it's permissible. I guess it's permissible because I know.
I think what I read, it said from 12 years old, less than 12 it could be child labor, and like what she was doing, helping a parent, is not seen as child labor because it was supervision of a parent, and it was not like it was stopping her from her school or eating properly. But there is child labor, and we'll talk about that. This what I'm about to say is not justifying what that lady did. There's child labor because I know of someone, a group of people who were abused that way, because in their own case they didn't grow up with their parents, they grew up with step parents, and they will be asked to do things that older children, their biological children who are older, were not allowed to do, but they, much younger, because it was not their home, they would do it. And it was not only about the age, it was that they were given tasks that were much more bigger than them, for them, for their age. You'll be asking a 4-year-old or a 6-year-old to do some washing so bad that they will have scars all over their hands. You ask them to you send them on errands, you not give them transportation, they'll work for many hours back and forth. So there is child labor. There is abuse of a child, and you turn that child into a slave, and that is what we should speak against. So you see this performative outrage that we have, that is what this particular case is about, where we'll just pick up things and we're just trying to show off that look at what I'm telling you of. You have not thought through the conversation. You've not looked at what you're at the situation, the context of what you're looking at. You are quick to take a video so that you can show on social media that, hey, look at me too. I am an advocate. I am saying something. But you have not looked at the situation. And I find that that's a lot of us who are doing that. It's all part of this packaging. Let us package ourselves as advocates. So you see something that looks like something without pursuing it, you make all sorts of mistakes.
It's very sad, but maybe I don't cap
performative outrage.
English deal.
I think we need to wrap up on that, but I think in a nutshell, today we talked quite a bit about parenting. What's abuse, what's an abuse, how do you strike the balance between what's ability and character. We've discussed bullying, we've discussed so many parts of parenting and how to ensure that we're not abusing our children, yet we can actually have them assist us in our trade. But either way, I think it's important that adults involved must understand and recognize the roles of children and let them be children. And also the children also should be allowed to express themselves at their own time and shouldn't be forced into labor the time they're allowed to go into labor. I think that's all we can take on today's show. We've been able to wrap this up. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.